Stades, Ekason, I'll take that again. Bon après-midi, Xiang Hao, Buenas tardes, Ekason, Inaini, Ehihioma, Oloroka, Maino, Mokom Ekomdo, and good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, who is joining from different parts of the world. It's so good to have you with us today at the Nigerian Global Affairs Council Focus, where we are continuing the discussion we've started, which is nation building towards the 2023 elections. Before we even go further, I just want to be sure that everyone who's joining, a Nigerian citizen and Nigerian national, has been able to do their voters registration. We encourage everyone to make sure we have done the registration and we have our card ready to cast our vote come February 2023. So it will not just be the usual talk and no action, but this time around, we are all going out to make sure that we vote and we vote right, and then we make sure that our votes count. 2023 elections, very strategic, I must tell everyone. Nigerians look forward to 2023 elections for many reasons. We're looking at crippling insecurity, lawlessness, floundering economy, perennial suboptimal social services, and an obfuscate desire to hope for a better future. Most Nigerians look forward to having a president, a governor, a senator, a House of Rep member, or legislator with the magic wand to tackle these socio-economic challenges, and a leader that will set things right on a path to the Nigeria of our dreams. However, some other persons are interested in the elections and their outcomes for several other reasons. We all know that globalization and its over-increasing tendency for interdependency of nations have brought to the fore the interest of global economic power players in the Nigerian elections. These players have become stakeholders in the local elections in Nigeria, that presidential candidates, although acting local in dealing with the issues of interest to Nigerians, must think global on how to contend with these global interests. This is especially expedient given the inevitability of the clash between Nigeria's national interest and the national interest of these power blocks collectively or individually as nations. The bipolarity is increasingly become more evident now than ever since the collapse of the Soviet Union in the 1990s, and most recently, the Russia-Ukraine war. The West consists of Western Europe, and North America is one power bloc, and on the other hand is China, arguably a rising superpower that may end probably America's claim. To spill this discussion down to the local level, a lot is at stake in this 2023 general election, that the West may be tempted to go beyond the traditional curiosity interest in promoting democracy. First, Nigeria is at a crossroad, and in a volatile state with heightened insecurity, insurgency, terrorist incursions, secessionist agitations, and a melting economic situations. This election offers hope to bend the curves politically, economically, and socially post-COVID-19 pandemic, and guarantee the level of internal security that discourages further terrorist incursions and needless migration of our youths. This hope must be actualized to avoid further deterioration and disaster waiting to happen. Now, this is one issue amongst many. So I can tell you that this next election is very, very, very important to us, given the above reason. So while we're dealing with all of these issues, I want us to go straight to mention to everyone today that we have a guest with us in the house. Someone who is also a major player in the 2023 elections, who is no other person but Honorable Chief Hilary Edime Amodu, Kogi East ADC senatorial candidate. Before we go further, let me quickly read out his profile so we all know our guest before we give him the floor to speak to us today. Because, I mean, I, for one, have lots of questions. I know everyone joining on this conversation also have one or two questions to ask. Candidate of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, for Kogi East Senatorial District for the 2023 general election, Honorable Chief Hilary Edime Amodu hails from either local government area of Kogi State, though born at Idiaraba in Mushin area of Lagos State. He bagged the Bachelor of Science degree in Sociology at the University of Ilorin, Kwara State, and a master's degree in Industrial Labor Sociology from Kogi State University, Ayingba. In his quest to carve out a niche for himself, he became a member of several professional bodies, amongst which are member, Certified Institute of Economics, member, Nigerian Institute of Cost Management, member, Nigerian Institute of Corporate Affairs and Business Management, member, Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, member, Nigerian Institute of Management, and member, Nigerian Institute of Financial Analysts of Nigeria. Honorable Chief Hilary Amodu is today the CEO of Edrado Integrated Services Limited, Edrado Ventures, and Who is Who in Igala Land. He is currently the coordinator of Abuja Merit Award, Kogi Merit Award, Igala Merit Award, and Igala Women of Substance Merit Award. He was the national president of Rural Youth Volunteers Association, past president Kogi Youth Forum, and past president Anchor Club Abuja. He is currently the organizer of the biggest carnival in North Central Nigeria, Igala Youth Carnival. As an Igala man, head to toe, he recently composed the Nigerian national anthem into a song in Igala language that is sung today at every Igala function. He has several publications to his credit, amongst which is the only authoritative biographical encyclopedia on Igala sons and daughters, Who is Who in Igala Land. Hilary also holds the chieftaincy title of the Ejuchegahi Efu, which is Dogba. Hilary Edime Amodu is also a recipient of several awards, amongst which are the Frontiers Club Merit Award, the African Heritage Television Merit Award, and Officer of the Igala Kingdom by ICDA. Thank you so much, Chief Hilary Amodu. If you're with us, thank you so much, sir. I can see you've already joined us today to discuss this very, very, very important topic before us as we look at, or as we x-ray, the 2023 elections.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Everyone who's joining here are eager to hear you speak on nation building towards 2023 elections. What are your thoughts around the 2023 elections?
All right, can you hear me?
Yes, clearly I can hear you.
Okay, thank you for putting my profile together and
thank you so much.
telling the whole world who I am.
Thank you so much.
I don't think I need so much introduction anymore, but the little you have done, I'm sure you have done a human job. For listeners and those who are just joining, my name still remains Chief Hilary Amodu. I'm the ADC candidate for Kogi East Senatorial District. And I'm happy that today I'll be speaking to the world on a sweet topic, where the global political trend, of today is almost like kicking on everybody's lips. I really celebrate everyone joining us, and I know we'll do justice to this topic today. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So talking about nation building towards 2023 elections, seeing that you are also a candidate now who is going into the 2023 elections, what are your expectations from Nigerians, or what are your thoughts around the 2023 elections? Some people hold that very strong position that, considering all of the ills bedeviling the society today, looking at it from the insecurity point of view, where there's constant killing, constant breakdown of law and order, where people are kidnapped at will from their houses and wherever it is, and all of that. So a lot of people hold the position that the election might not even hold.
Well,
does this pose any cause to worry or concern to you?
Sure. With the way the society is today, it causes a lot of worry. But nevertheless, Nigeria, where we come from, I think is what we are witnessing today is something that the society is we are getting used to it, because it's a phase that I know it will pass. But of course, I don't want to say it's going to affect the elections, but it also causes worry. Why will it cause worry? Yes, a lot of money has been put in place. The issue in Nigeria today, you talk about the ethnicity, the ethnic group, where we come from. We talk about religion, and all this is tearing us apart. But I think we'll get it right. An election in Nigeria will take place by the grace of God.
Fantastic.
As for the reservation in which most people are having, yes, it's normal for every human being to feel secured, especially when you want to talk about elections in Nigeria. But I know from what has happened in Oshun recently, we'll surely get it right. INEC is doing all their possible best to ensure that things are put in place to help the situation and help the anomalies. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much. Before we proceed on this, please, I'd like to ask everyone who have questions or contribution to please drop it in the chat box, and I'll make sure that it is addressed and responded to by our special guests today. Please drop your questions, your comments in the chat box, please. Thank you so much, everyone. So, Honorable, do you have any faith in INEC? Because, I mean, prior to this time, or prior to the electoral amendment, we had instances where we had overvoting, we had issues with collation of results, we had issues with transmission of results, amongst a host of other things within the electoral space, right? Now, looking at Ekiti elections, Osun State elections, even though some people still feel that they needed to be notified, right, because of the outcome of the Osun election, do you think Nigerians should have some form or some level of hope to say that INEC will be able to deliver in 2023 elections? Because some people say that Osun and Ekiti were off-season elections, right, which is one state at a time. But 2023 elections, you're going to have elections running concurrently across the 36 states and the FCT, right? So do you think INEC can deliver on its mandate for 2023?
I want to also agree that from the election of 2019, you will see what INEC did when it got to the issue of ballot boxes, snatching of ballot boxes, the registration, and as the case might be. you notice that, yes, we recorded some funny attitude in some states because that was actually the last general election we had. But coming to talk about 22, 23, what we have today, what INEC has put in place is the beavers. And, the trend all over Nigeria today is what is actually happening in the world. People are already talking of personalities. People are already talking about capacity. People are looking forward to who can deliver. And of course, we find all those kind of people in our society. Nevertheless, and as the society is today, we also believe and know that give and take will have to carry our cross. How are we going to go about this? Well, vote, we count, is what people are talking about. People will look out for capacity. People will look out for integrity. People will look out for those who can help in salvaging this country, Nigeria, and even our senatorial district, our states across the device. Now, INEC has a work to do. What does INEC have to do? INEC has to ensure that the people's vote counts. And that is exactly their mandate. And that is exactly what they are doing today. What are they doing? They are doing everything to ensure that, look, as you vote, your vote can count, your vote can be protected. And that's why even the registration of PVC today is where we are today. Because one, the new sets of guys that were trained are actually not enough to man the systems. But I'm sure we still have time with the new Electoral Act. We still have up to 6 months to the election. So I know if INEC put their acts together, more trainings will take place, more manpower, more personnel will be put in place. And of course, we'll get it right. Now, the issue around is we need to vote our own. We need to vote this personality. We need to vote who we can access. We need to vote who we can reach out to. We need to vote who can come to our aid when they need be. Not the politician that run to Abuja or run to and run away from home. You can't access them. They are not there for you. We need those kind of people who are home people. So now grassroots, we count. Grassroots politics will play its role. And that is the position I have taken as a candidate.
That's very, I like how clean you are. But you see, the impression all along has always been that this is election period and all of that, where you have politicians sweet-mouthing and sweet-talking people and all of that, basically just to get votes. And then once they get these votes, they become lords and kings.
It's a normal thing all over. It's a normal thing all over the world. So it's left for the electorate to take decision. Who are those who are close to them? Who are those who they can access? There are politicians with street mouth all over the world. Nigeria is not an exception. And what we are seeing today is those who you vote for, they go to Abuja, sit at the chamber, sleep, sit at the comfort of the government house, sleep. They care less about the people. They care less about the vote. They care less about the grassroots. All they think is, okay, let me push borehole there. If they push one borehole there, how much is borehole? So all these are things that Nigeria have to start using as a rethink. We need to start thinking differently from the normal norms or whatever they call normal norms, which is, okay, these people are hungry, let me give them peanuts. And 4 years after, again, you come back again and ask for votes. I think Nigerians are becoming wiser than what we have today.
I like what you said earlier, where you talked about the electorate having to look now more at individual credibility. They look
Very
at
important.
candidates now, not political
Very
party,
important.
right?
Exactly.
Because I was going to ask, right?
Political party is just a logo. It's a platform, for you to use. It's like a springboard. You are going to use the political party to get to where you are going to. But who are those that form the crops of the political party? Me and you. Gone are those days, they say structure. When you talk about structure, what is structure? Human being. I have the human being so-called structure say, look, we are going by the way of Hillary. We are leaving Henry and going by the way of Hillary, irrespective of political party. So be it. It happened here in FCT, when they had the local government election between the PDP and the APC. I'm sure they least expect that the ruling party we lose a place like Amak and sensitive places like Buhari and Gwagwalada. So, and even in Oshun that we're talking about, You know, people, yes, vote buying, just as you mentioned before. It might be but we thank God that the EFCC is also looking into it. So at the polling unit now, you really find money circulating. So you can do whatever money you want to, whoever wants to give money, give them in their houses. But of course, the people are so wise now and very sensitive. Even when they get the money, they vote their conscience and vote their choice. So for me, I know that we'll get there someday. You know.
So you feel it's a gradual process, and then there is already a process to correct these abnormalities within the system. Fantastic. Because I mean, you talked about
yes, as we talk now, just as I mentioned before, as we talk now, we're not talking about ballot snatching anymore. What we are talking about now is vote buying. So we'll get there. At least we'll put one behind. That we'll put one behind means that yes, somehow, somewhere, we have scored a point. So gradually we'll get to where we're going, where credibility will have a role to play in our society, and we play a major role too. Yes.
Fantastic. Because I mean, while you were talking earlier, you made mention of structure. You made mention of political parties being just springboards and all of that, because these have become issues nationally, right? Where it is used to measure if a candidate will win or will not win. Because I was going to ask you, ADC, Nigeria, other than this honorable from Yagba also, who is currently the ADC member in Kogi State, Leke Abejide, who is also doing well, right? I wanted to ask, right? So how do you think you stand a chance? Because it is one thing to be able to have the wherewithal, the capacity to provide or bring forth the dividends of a democracy to the people, right? Not just to go and drill borehole and all of that, like the usual and all of that, right? But to really, really, really drive home the change the people are yearning for. I was going to ask if you think your party stands a chance in the election, because we've all been used to the whole APC and PDP and just a certain political parties, basically, to mention, right? Do you think you stand a chance in the next election?
I'm happy you talked about Leke. Leke won when it was least expected. The orientation has started. People are already looking for capacity. People are already looking towards who has a brand, who has touched the lives of the people. People are looking for people who have integrity, people who can do it, people who have capacity. We are not talking about party any longer. Yes, party might just be the logo. Party might just be the springboard, just as I mentioned before. But who are those? Who are the party pushing forward? Are they people-oriented? Do they have people-oriented things that the voters are looking out for? We have seen situations where people bring money and they turn down the money and vote their conscience. We have also seen situations where people bring money, they collect the money and even use the money to also vote for the candidate of their choice. It's getting to that era. In fact, we're already at that era because it's already playing a lot of role. People are already being sensitized. People are already being conscientized. Everywhere you go, people are talking about personality, who is contesting, who is not contesting. So at this point now, the political party might play less role. So now people are looking for, that's why you see all sorts of intrigues happening. The man who is there, can he deliver, or we should change him? Because they have a window of the next 2 weeks to see if they can change people who can win elections for them. It's happening everywhere. And Kogi State, where I'm going to represent, especially the Kogi East among the Igala people, will not be an exception at all. The party, people say it's not on ground. But I want to tell you that the party is fully on ground. And by the grace of God, we'll win this election and will become the senator representing the good people of Kogi East. ADC is on ground and we'll surely win this election.
Thank you. Do you think there's any form of, do you have any fear that religion might play out in the next election? Because a party chose a Muslim ticket that has generated quite a lot of controversy. Looking at it from the way Nigeria is, we have quite a lot of...
Nigeria has a dichotomy that we cannot rule out. Whether you like it or not, that religion must play a serious role when it comes to election. Ethnic group will play serious role when it comes to election. Those two, you cannot separate them from politics. They go pari passu with each other. So for me, I know it's going to play a role. It's either you make or mar. It's either you get votes or you don't get votes. But for me, I know religion, ethnic group form part of politics in Nigeria for today.
Interesting. Because the ideology or the thinking process is that it is not just from one ethnic group or one religion that you should find credible candidates. Other parts of the country, other religion also have people who are able and capable to also deliver dividends of democracy. So like you said, it is either for or against, which means the power still belongs to the people to choose if that is what they want or what they do not want. Essentially,
exactly.
Wow, that's amazing.
That's my take. That's my take. So the power ultimately, rests with the people. They either go with the Muslim, or they go against the Muslim, or they go with the religion, the ethnic group, or they change whatever they want. So the people ultimately have the decision to make the president of Federal Republic of Nigeria.
Amazing. Michael Sano is asking in the chat box. He's saying, how do we come up with campaign against huge cash at the venue of election? I think we should make noise about it.
Very important, because for me, I think the aside EFCC that we saw at the election of Oshun, I think the police, the civil defense, they should also be sensitized about the money at the polling unit. Any money.
I'm sorry, Honorable, to interrupt you. I'm very sorry. As a rider to that, just to offer more clarity, he's saying, I have observed 3 elections consecutive times. And one thing is common: election buying and late collation at collation center. Sometimes security personnel supervise sharing of money, hitherto called vote buying. Because, I mean, I am worried if those who are there to ensure law and order, to protect people and to make sure they stand against the process, supervise this same thing. Don't you think it is something to worry about?
It's really something to worry about. But for me, I think we have a precedent already in Oshun election. People took money and never voted. Some people rejected the money. And I'm sure even in 2019, in Kogi State, where I come from, a lot of intrigues of that nature took place. A lot of money came in and a lot of people rejected the money and voted their conscience. We are talking, just as we're already being aware all over the nation, people are talking of personalities. People are talking about who can assess, who they can assess, who can deliver. Of course, a lot of us have track record, we have brand. So for me, I always feel that people know what they want. The voters know what they want. So they can take money if the money is made available to them and vote their conscience. For now, I want to also advise that law enforcement agencies should also be briefed, should be sensitized on the need that any money that is being seen around the polling unit should be seized and taken to the station and properly documented. And let's wait for who will come and claim that kind of money. I beg you never see anybody coming to claim that money. They return back to government. That is my take.
So essentially what you're saying is we should expect a different representation if you emerge winner in the 2023 elections.
Yes, I also want to mention, somebody also asked for the collation center. With the new beavers, I don't think there's not going to be any word collation and all those as we used to have. From your polling units, you press enter, it goes straight to the INEC server. So all those collation, the lacuna between polling unit and collation center has been eroded now with the emergence of beavers. It happens in Oshun. We saw the progression as they were voting, as they were from polling units. We could see how it was moving, party by party like that. I'm sure what we're going to have in 2023 will not be different, because the beavers is already a nightmare to all those who think they can manipulate the electoral, the election of Nigeria and the election of 2020.
Great. Now, you are looking at winning the elections. Something different played out last week at the National Assembly, where some senators are demanding the impeachment of the president due to his handling of security in the country, the economy. I mean, at some point last week, dollar was 710 to a dollar. Naira was 710 naira to a dollar. If you were in the House, would you have supported the impeachment of the president?
Well, for me, one of the things I always look out for is if you are not getting it right, there should have been like a notification, even if it's not a direct impeachment. I will always be of the opinion that a formal letter from the House should be sent to the president, notifying the president of the issues that are being raised from the Senate. But I don't want to believe that some people are taking it personal, or some are seeing it that they were short of the leg. Because from what I've seen, a lot of people are feeling that they lost their primaries, they can't come back. The Electoral Act has caught up with them. They can't come back, so they should mess up the entire system. That is my own thinking about what is happening. If not,
so if the National Assembly is supposed to write to the president, how then do you tell me he's abreast with the current happenings in Nigeria? Why this question is, the governor of Kaduna State stated that he had to tell the president that some terrorists are threatening to kidnap him. That's one.
We are not sure of that statement. We are not sure of that statement. It's trending everywhere. But I think the president has a lot of, to be president of Federal Republic of Nigeria means you are number one citizen in everything. You have the Femi Adesina, you have the Shehu Garba, you have media men everywhere who read the newspaper, who watches news and pass on information to the president. There's no way the governor of Kaduna will come and tell us that he's the first person who notified the president.
But don't you think these people
I don't believe that.
Don't you also think these people can be selective in what they say? Because I mean, I listened to the interview on channels
selective at the expense of
the president.
I don't think that is true, because you can't be selective when it comes to this kind of issue. It's a national issue. It will be disgraceful and to be very worrisome that the president is not aware of what is happening in Nigeria today. I'm sure that he's aware. And from little I've seen all through this 1 week, yes, for me, you need to just buckle up. The president needs to buckle up, because it's no more tea and bread. It's a serious business.
So by saying he needs to buckle up, you agree he's not performing optimally as expected?
Exactly. I will mention, I say
that. Fantastic. Quickly. We have someone here with us who has been wanting to ask a question. His name is Christopher Amrobo. Christopher, in 30 seconds to 1 minute, can you quickly ask a question, please? Christopher, if you can hear me quickly, can you quickly take a question?
Chris, are you there? Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. So please kindly go over the question, please. Chris, we can't hear you. I mean, I can't hear you.
You can still type it. You can.
Chris, we still can't hear you.
Can you hear me, please?
Yes, I can hear you now, but if you can speak, I'll be more audible.
I have 5 simple questions for the Honorable to answer, and I will go through each and every one of them very quickly. Number 1 is, so now let's talk about the illegality of a legal instrument called a constitution. According to the constitution of this country, Section 77, subsection 2, prevents people in diaspora, Nigerians in diaspora, from voting. And on this basis, it was claimed that there's a legal matter as regards to that. Please, if you become senator of this republic, what will you do about this? Because the constitution is a legal instrument, and it is calling for that particular provision as one that needs careful consideration, of which Nigerians who are citizens have legal backing to partake in an election, be it presidential or any at the federal level. The second one is...
Hold on.
So Chris, hold on. Let the honorable answer.
For this one, well, I will give you a quick answer to it. You know, the beauty of it is that now we have a beavers. You know, for me, I think that INEC has to go extra mile, ensuring that Nigerians who lives in diaspora are also duly registered with their PVC. So if, for instance, you live in UK, or you live in Canada, or you live in Botswana, or as the case might be, without beavers, without ballot paper or so, you can go there, you know, thumbprint, press the button and cast your vote, and automatically send the signal to the server. I think with that, I'm sure over time, I'll be one of those who advocate for that. I want to assure you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Honorable. Yeah, Chris, can you?
The second one is, yes, please, yes. The second is, what is your definition of someone with capacity? We've heard politicians hearing about capacity, and they're the ones with capacity. What is your definition of someone with capacity? Help us understand this. And the third being that, what are your plans for providing education across your senatorial district? Because you have talked so much about what you would do, but you have failed to provide an agenda for education for the youths.
Well, for me, I think, hold on. I have 5-point agenda, you know, as a candidate from where I come from. Number 1 is the women, youth, and children. Number 2 is education. Number 3 is health. Number 4 is water. And number 5 is agriculture. Yes, I didn't talk about that, but I want to tell you that for me, from my kind of background, because I will say that education has helped me a great deal. You just read my profile and you see that, of course, at the age of 30, I was already a bank manager. I worked in 7 banks, and today I also sit as a national committee member of National Honor in Nigeria.
Okay, you haven't gone through what is your definition of someone with capacity?
Sorry, Chris, can you hold on?
So let me talk about this capacity. When you talk about capacity, but what I looked as capacities, can you turn the tides of things with people's votes? Today they talk about you being a senator and you don't return back to even know what the issue is with your constituency. So if you don't have what it takes, you can't think out of the box, you know, to know that these people somewhere need scholarship, these people somewhere need health facilities, these people somewhere need primary health care, they need cottage hospital, teachers need to be trained, people need to go to school, then I think you don't have that capacity. That is exactly what I'm talking about, not anywhere near financial at all. Financial stand on its own, but you must have the wherewithal to be able to listen to the people and carry what it takes, what the people want to the higher chamber, and find how you can deal in especially profiling solution and law that will help in alleviating the issues that the people have tendered before you. That is my own position of capacity.
Fantastic.
Thank you very much, Honorable. I have 2 more questions, and I'll run through them quickly. The first being that, at the very basics, how do you intend to tackle insecurity in your own senatorial district? You see, the discourse around security and insecurity across the country starts from the very basic level when you make analysis of our current situation. So how do you intend to tackle insecurity at your senatorial district? And the last thing, that in a case that this country finds itself in a
Okay, before you take the last question, because I'm not hearing you anymore. Let me quickly take this issue of insecurity within my constituency. By His grace, I was a local government chairman, and I know what I did in my own locality. The first thing I did was to ensure that a good number of youths came on board. I had 150 essays. How much? I was paying them, yes, 20,000 each. But because I had 10 wards, I had to pick 15 each from every of those wards. You know, then I met with some young men who also felt, oh, some of them are being shortchanged. And we discussed. And of course, those who required scholarship, those who required school fees to be paid, all these were taken care of. Then, of course, I also have security meetings, because I know that some of those security apparatus and agencies were not taken care of. I was able to call them, and every month they take something from me. So I will replicate that when eventually I become senator by grace. I ensure that the constituency where I'm representing, the DPOs are well taken care of, the military areas within my constituency are also well taken care of, where they need attention, especially when it has to do with infrastructure. Some of them, you go to some of those police stations, it's an eyesore. What does it take to ensure that they live in a good environment? What does it take for them to be properly taken care of? Maybe little or nothing. So all this I know I put in place to ensure that there's peace where I come from. And of course, why not? I'm not the chief security officer. I'm only going to contribute my own little quota. The chief security officer where I come from is the governor and the local government chairman. But as a senator, I don't have anything to do. I will only influence, and that I promise to do when I become senator.
Thank you very much. Some of your answers would only need more elaboration so that we understand better. But because of time, so you take the final question. In the case that this country finds itself in a situation like this again, will you support the constitutional right to request for the impeachment of any president who is incapacitated in my own term? A president who is not working, not just the president, but any sitting member of the Federal Executive Council who has failed to take part in ensuring that there is peace, prosperity, and development across Nigeria. So tell us, will you support an impeachment?
I will support that wholeheartedly because, one, I'm a young man and I know what is happening out there. I know what the pain is out there. If you are not prepared for governance, you don't even belong to what we are talking about. So if the constitution is very clear, let the law take its course. For me, I agree totally. The constitution of Federal Republic of Nigeria is very clear when it comes to impeachment, when it comes to withdrawal of legislators. So for that, I'm one of those who advocate that look, if you perform below, you should leave the stage, and the people's will should prevail too.
Fantastic. Right. Thank you so much, Christopher, for your questions. And I know you are satisfied with the answers given by the senatorial candidate of the ADC. So thank you so much, Honorable, for those answers and feedback and all of that. In driving home the message around credible elections in Nigeria and ensuring that the people are able to vote right, Michael Shanu is saying, how do we move observer to digital space where they can also observe how people collate election and what goes into the server because of hackers and IT illegalities? How election that goes into the server correlates with what happens at the voting center?
I think that is beyond me because INEC is already on top of that. And I want to believe that they are also experienced, the IT or the technical department of INEC, for it to have survived and succeeded in Osun, in FCT, in Anambra, means that they have gone beyond this. And we used to, even in the bank, we used to feel that hackers are all over the place, but a lot of measures are put in place. So I know INEC is taking care of that. And they are the umpire. I'm a candidate. I'm seeking election. So I don't believe, I don't want to go into what I don't know about. But I know that a lot of measures are put in place to ensure that things like hackers and all these observers are not agents are taken care of. I think INEC is on top of that situation.
So, Honorable, you earlier said you would support the impeachment of a president or a federal executive council member who is not performing.
Yeah, exactly.
If an ADC presidential candidate emerges president today or in the 2023 elections, and it is discovered that that person is unable or incapacitated to deliver the duties expected of him as the president, would you support the impeachment of the president?
I will support wholeheartedly. I'm a realist.
Not minding even if your party is just getting there for the first
time. At this point, we are not talking about party. If you know you are not fit, you are not capable, don't even aspire. It's not tea and bread any longer. We are there to salvage this country, Nigeria. We need to take this country to the next level. We are not joking here. Anybody who feels we are going there to play is joking. We are not. This time around, it's going to be a different ball game. That's why you'll be wondering how people like us emerge as a candidate. Yes, it's not business as usual. Gone are those days, they say you are a minister, you go in there, you are governor, you go in there, you are senator, you come back. So they shuffle among themselves. Because it's going to be a different thing this year. If you know you can't perform, we are going there to defend the constitution, we are going there to defend Nigeria, we are going to defend our own constituents, especially the young ones. They must be heard. They must listen to us.
Okay.
This time is our time. And people must know that we're going to make a difference.
One beautiful thing you have always mentioned is you're a youth, you're a youth, you're a youth. I want to ask, Honorable, around the country today, considering the financial implications of running a political campaign in Nigeria, do you think the youths are in the best position right now to contest for elective offices? I mean, I'm looking at it from this point of view. For instance, the APC presidential form was pegged at 100 million naira. I mean, PDP, on the other hand, was, I think, 50 million or so, thereabout, somewhere around that side, right? While the House of Rep form was, an intent form was about 2 million, 3 million, thereabout, and all of that. Do you think that is a fair amount on the youths, judging from the fact that we're looking at the economic point of view, where you need to have worked for some years to have been able to labor, save some money of that sort, and all of that? Even if you do GoFundMe account these days, I mean, the amount of funds you were expecting might not come because of the economic situation in the country, where people are first struggling to eat, right? Do you think the situation is ripe or is supportive of youth to contest in the next election?
You see, the beauty of it is that I always use myself as an example. I'm a young man. I know I left APC for ADC. I actually wanted to be governor of my state. And maybe if I had been in APC, I could have been struggling to look for 100 million. But of course, I know I have built a brand in 30 years, and the brand should speak for me. That's why I opted for where I know that my brand will work. So there are several political parties. It's not a must that you that want to aspire should be in PDP or APC. There are places that, there are parties that their form is 2 million. Why not go there if you know you are popular and make a statement? We're not talking about because the party is, the people feel the party has structure, the party has commissioner, the party has minister, the party has DG, MD, as the case might be, it's enough. We have seen a situation where party of that magnitude have been rejected at the polls. So if you know you are popular and you have what it takes and you are already with your people, I want to assure you that any party you go to, irrespective of PDP or APC, you surely emerge, and the people will only cut their vote for you. So for me, it's not about money. Go back home, build relationship with your people, touch the people, let them be able to assess you. Let the people know that, oh, Hillary is our own. Hillary has done this. You read my profile, and I was listening to King. I organized one of the biggest carnival in North Central Nigeria. People gathered, yes, no gate fee, nothing. But I know how I source for sponsors, and people are happy coming around. So I also organized the Gala musical concert. All the Gala musicians come together, and they're happy. So you must show capacity. That's what I call capacity. It's not about just money. You must show that, look, you are with the people. You are people's man. People love you. The voters are talking about you. That is what I'm enjoying today when you go back. I've not given anybody any dime. The only thing you see me doing is move from one point to another. And the acceptance, oh, it's you that is doing that carnival. It's you that conducted the election the last time. It's you that is doing that musical concert. People are tying you down to things that you have done. And that is what I advise every young man out there. Make sure you leave your mark. Make sure in your village you are contesting councillor within your ward. How many people have you visited? Have the people know you? If you are doing local government, if the local people know you, you don't stay in Abuja and come to Ida and say you want to be local government chairman. Go to Ankpa and say you want to go to Jeba and say this can't work. That's why I always say that people always look for those who are with them when it comes to local government chairman and state assembly. But I've seen situations where people come and impose candidates and the people turn down their candidate, or because of that, like a case that happened in one of the local government. One of the former governors came and imposed somebody on the people, and we said, no, this is not what we want. We want one of our own. And because of that, there was an exodus of people to another party. And today, it's more like a nightmare. So the narrative is changing, and the people's orientation is also changing. And I know that by His grace, it's going to be a different ballgame.
Thank you so much, Honorable. As we prepare to wrap up, I'll take a few more comments from the chat box. Dr. JJ Osakwe, MDS, says, I like this man. I hope he means what he says. Thank you so much, Osakwe.
I have track record. You can always view my profile. I have a track record. And whatever I say,
thank you. So Pius is saying, Honorable, I love your dogged disposition around doing the right thing as a political gladiator. How might we drive this mentality across the board? I mean, people know what is right to do, but negative influences had always taken over people's minds. How do we change this narrative in the nation of Nigeria?
Let the youth who know they have what it takes, let them come on board. Forget whether it's a big party, whether it's a PDP or APC. Choose any other party and go there and make a statement. It must not be one of the big parties. I'm today in ABC. I'm a candidate and a leading candidate for that matter from where I come from. So you can do it. Whatever it takes, you can do it. Don't feel you don't have money. Go into it. You find favor. Even when we went to school, how did we even graduate? You find people supporting us. You find well-wishers coming. Even among students, you still find support. So what we are doing today, of course, I know that it's going to yield results. And we'll clap hand for ourselves as young men at the end of the year.
Thank you so much, Honorable. We have some persons here who might be having cold feet around the next elections. I'm talking who are maybe candidates, those who are rooting for one person or the other, and all of that. What would be your encouragement to these youths who are listening to you right now? What would be your words of encouragement? What would be your advice to them?
Please, we young ones and youths of today, choose people who have listening ears. Choose people who you can access. Choose people who come home. Choose people who have the heart of the people at heart. Because it's not about just voting or pushing people there. And in the next 4 years, you not see them again. They return 4 years after and say they want a re-election. So for me, I want to believe that the youth of today are already the current future. And gone are those days when they say that the future of tomorrow. You are already carrying our cross in your hands to determine who gets what, to determine who wins the election, and determine who comes on board. For me, I always believe that my success story won't have been complete without young men, without young women, without the youth, without the women, without the children. And that is my success story.
Fantastic. Honorable Dr. JJ Osakwe, MDS, is saying, Honorable, please, if you ever wish to visit Botswana, let me know. I live there. Amazing how you're able to impact or touch people around the world. Well done. And kudos to everyone who has joined in on this conversation today. Thank you so much, Honorable, for making out time out of a busy schedule to motivate, encourage, and answer some of these pertinent questions around nation building as we prepare for the 2023 elections. Once again, everyone, This webinar was put together by the Nigerian Global Affairs Council, which is a technology-based digital media-driven public policy and evidence-based research think tank focused on policy concerns that revolve around governance and public administration within the Nigerian state and how we interact with the larger world. Once again, everyone, you were speaking with Honorable Chief Hilary Edime. Once again, he's the candidate of the African Democratic Congress for Kogi East Senatorial District for the 2023 elections. Honorable Chief Hilary Edime Amodu hails from Ida local government area of Kogi State. Born here in Lagos State, Nigeria, he bagged the Bachelor of Science degree in Sociology at the University of Ilorin, Kwara State, and a Master's degree in Industrial Labor Sociology from Kogi State University, Anyigba. He has several publications and several awards. And then just to mention a few, Honorable Hilary Edime is also a recipient of several awards, amongst which are the Frontiers Club Merit Award, the African Heritage Television Merit Award, and Officer of the Igala Kingdom by ICDA. Once again, everyone, thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Diplomat Onoja, better known as Abraham John Onoja, moderator, Director of Public Relations for the Nigerian Global Affairs Council. Thank you so much. As we have been saying and we'll keep saying, if you have not registered, go and register. I think it's closing on Monday or Sunday, right? Somewhere around this month anyways. Make sure today is Saturday. I don't know if it's still allowed. Go and register, collect your card. Go to the election or the polling unit on election day. Go and cast your vote. Stand there till it is collated and transmitted. Make sure you defend your vote. Your vote counts, it matters. If it doesn't, nobody would come there to try to induce you. No one will come there to try and scuttle the process if it doesn't matter. So go to the polling unit, stand there, cast your vote, and make sure you defend it. We'll make sure we bring as much candidates on this platform so we can get to interact them, know their manifesto and their plans for Nigerians, and then you can get to interact with them. And subsequently, God's willing, they emerge, we would also bring them here to also x-ray their manifesto, their plans as against where we are come probably 2023 and beyond. Thank you so much, everyone, once again. We look forward to having you next month in our monthly dialogue series. For now, from me, thank you so much. We love you, and we look forward to seeing you. Once again, Honorable, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you,
Honorable. It was a pleasure
Honorable.
hosting you today. Thank you so much,
Thank
everyone.
you, Diplomat Onoja.
Thank
Good
you
job.
once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a nice day, everyone. Okay, thank you so much, Honorable.
Thank you to everyone too.
All right, thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye for now, everyone.
you